started with already? Let's get this moon phase to the message. We all need to understand how to read the moon. But you have to rely on nobody to understand what the Most High meant for us. So we gonna go through that today. Because if you know how to read the moon, then you'll always know when the high holy days are and when the Sabbath is. Send it to her. And if you get your moon phase app, that'll help too. So give me Daniel chapter 7 and verse 24. Look. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 24.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 24. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause crafts.
7 and 24?
Yeah. Oh, that's 8 and 24. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 24. And the 10 horns out of his kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kingdoms.
Read on.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws.
Do what? You thought to do what?
Change times and laws.
This is talking about Esau. This is talking about Babylon. They thought to change times and laws. What do Babylon mean?
The city of confusion.
Confusion. So of course they want to change the times and laws to keep doing confusion. So now Israelites is in Babylon confused. Starting all the way from the fact that we don't know who we are. Then once we get the understanding of who we are, now we arguing and bickering about certain things like the new moon, which is causing strife and division, which it shouldn't do that. If you remember where we at, we in the land of confusion. So all the stuff they got going on is meant to confuse the Israelites. But the Most High is not the author of confusion, right? So everything he do gonna make sense, and it's gonna be in order. So it's no sense of arguing. It's a sense we need to get an understanding. You know what I'm saying? And people got to understand, certain people are not knowledgeable in certain things. I had thought too smart to write essays, do algebra, geometry, everything, but geography just stuff. Land, it just do it to some people. The celestial stuff, just stick certain people. So just because somebody teaching the Bible doesn't necessarily mean they have an understanding of everything that they teach. Just because they know the precepts. So sometimes you got to dig a little deep. Because we are in Babylon, the land of confusion. You know what I'm saying? So give me the book. I'll finish that out.
Okay. They have think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hands until a time, and the dividing of time.
So how are you supposed to understand a time and a time and the dividing of time? You know what I'm saying? The Most High has given us that way, but we don't understand it because we coming out of slavery, we coming out of darkness and not knowing who we are. So you have to climb yourself out of this hole that we in. Give me Matthew 18 and 4. Let's see what Christ said.
This is the book of Matthew.
Start at verse 3.
Chapter 18 and verse 3. Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become a little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Read on.
Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
All right there. So Yahushua told us, except ye be converted. That conversion is taking off that old man, putting on a new man in Christ, and keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. And he said, and become as little children. Little children, when they're in school, they are open slate. They clean slate. You know what I'm saying? Just open to learn. So we have to do the same thing, but we have people who come into the truth and think they know everything. Sometimes you gotta wipe that slate clean and start from the beginning. Even some of the stuff that you was taught, you have to wipe it clean and start from the beginning, because if it's confusion around it, then you gotta get the understanding. Why is it confusion around it? You know what I'm saying? And let's get to the bottom of it. Everybody say, we gotta wait till Yahushua come. If that was the case, Christ, the Lord would have never gave us this in the first place, because we wouldn't have been able to understand it. But he made it so that we can understand it. He put it in writing so that every time we go into captivity, we will be able to bring ourselves back to the knowledge of who we are. So we got to be converted. We got to be little children, and we have to humble ourselves. We have people who are doing things in the traditions of men and don't want to humble themselves because they're wrong. It's okay to be wrong. We was wrong when we came into this, before we came into the truth. We thought we knew something, but we didn't know nothing, and we had to relearn everything. So give me Psalms 81 and verse 3. Because understanding the moon, first we got to understand the new moon, the difference between a new moon and a full moon. Because there's a controversy out there between the new. Why would the full moon be called the new moon if it's already called the full moon? Then they call the dark moon the dark moon. Well, let's see. Let's see what the scripture says.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 81 and verse 3.
And hold up, before you read that, do anybody have the blue letter Bible on their phone? Break it out, because we don't need it.
Continue.
Let everybody pull it up. Let everybody got to see this. Psalms 81. Go to Psalms 81 and 3. All right, read it from the high.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 81 and verse 3.
Yeah.
Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed, on our solemn feast days. For this was a statute for Israel, and a law of the God of Jacob. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony, when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not.
Oh, right there. There's a lot in those three scriptures right there. It's a lot. But you just read through it, you just, oh, okay, I get it. But it say, blow up the trumpet in the new moon, right? Let's go to our concordance. Hit that verse, and then go to concordance. When you hit that verse, you're going to have a list of stuff to come up. Hit concordance. And we're going to go to the Hebrew word, which is H2320 for new moon. You hit that, and the Hebrew word comes up, which is Hodis or Kodash, which means new moon, month, the first day of the month, the lunar month, right? So that means new month. So it says, blow up the trumpet in the new month. That's the first thing it says. What's at the new month? What starts a new month? A new moon, right? So then it says, In the time appointed. Do anybody know what in the time appointed is?
Good.
In the time appointed. That's the Hebrew word. It's H3677. That's the concordance numbers for it. So if you go to any of the concordance, you put that in there, this is going to come up. It's Hebrew word. Kisi. Read it up.
3677.
Kesed.
Kesed.
Kesed. And it means full moon. So the time appointed means full moon. So that's separate from new month. Right? It's two separate words. So how could the full moon be the new moon if they're two different words? But it's even more than that, because when we keep reading, it say on our solemn feast day. So it's telling you, blow up the trumpet in the new month, on the full moon, on our solemn feast day. Then when you keep reading, it say, for this was a statute for Israel, and a law of God, and the law of the God of Jacob. This he ordained Joseph for a testimony when, here go the clue, when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. So it's telling you, he gave us a law when we was in the land of Egypt to blow up the trumpet in the new month on the full moon. Let's see what law it was, because now we can go to the law. See, it's telling us to go back to the law. That's why we can't do away with the law, because the law is everything. Let's go to Numbers chapter 33 and verse 1. Precept upon precept.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 33 and verse 1. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron. And Moses wrote their going out according to their journeys by the commandments of the Lord. And these are their journeys according to their going out. And they departed from Ramses in the first month, on the 15th day of the first month, on the morrow after the Passover.
So, it's telling you, on the first month, do anybody know what the first month of the Hebrew year is?
March.
That's Gregorian. It's Abib.
Abib.
Abib is the first month of the Hebrew year. That's when we do the Passover. So it's telling you in the first month, which is Abib, on the 15th day, on the morrow after the Passover. What's the day after the Passover?
Feast of Unleavened Bread.
Feast of Unleavened Bread. It's telling you that the Feast of Unleavened Bread is going to be a full moon. And on that full moon, blowing the trumpet. In the new month. The new month is Abib. That's the first month of the year. And the 15th day is the Feast of Unleavened. I'm going to have to bear with me. What's the day before that? The 14th day is the Passover. So it's giving you direct instructions to blow up the trumpet in the first month during the full moon. During the full moon. So it's telling you there's going to be a full moon during the Feast of Unleavened. It's going to be a full moon starting that evening on the Passover, going into the next day. So we know that if the 15th day of the month is a full moon, then how can it be
No.
The new moon. It can't be the new moon. The full moon is the full moon. The full moon is a sign of feast. And we're going to get more on that. So that Psalms 81 shows the difference between the new moon and the full moon. So it gives you instructions through the law. So let's go to Exodus chapter 12. Exodus chapter 12, starting with 1.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for
right there. What I wanted to establish was the Most High established us the beginning of our year during that time. You know what I'm saying? So that's where our calendar starts. The moon is our calendar. We don't need a Gregorian calendar. No, it's no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the Hebrew calendar. It's day 1 through day 7. So, give me Leviticus 23, y'all. So check this out.
Leviticus 23?
Yes, sir. So check this out. Since we didn't establish that, right? It's in the scriptures is telling you what day of the month to do everything, right? So we start with the Sabbath. So we know we have to do the new moon. We know we have to do the new moon. Celebrate that. So when do we start the Sabbath? When do we start counting the Sabbath?
7 days from the new moon.
Read that.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 12 and verse 1. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed, and
23? 23.
You said 12. Leviticus 23.
So we know the Lord ordained us to do the new moon, which is the beginning of the month. Then we count everything else from the new moon. Read now.
Leviticus 23 and 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast.
Concerning what?
Concerning the feast.
The what?
The feast.
The feast. Now let's see what the feast are. Read on.
Of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest.
Hold on. What do you say?
6 days work shall be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, a holy convocation.
A holy convocation. So the first feast day that the Lord told us to do was the Sabbath. So where's the confusion? If we start, everybody doing a new moon in Israel, right? There you go. After the new moon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How old is that? 7 days later, Sabbath. Now go to the messenger and pull up the moon phase and show you how easy this is. So I keep that. We'll keep that on for the new moon. Keep that on for the new moon, right? Look on let's use the black. Yeah, let's use the black. Now, go to the dark moon, called the new moon, Right? And we're going to go counterclockwise when we're doing this. So if we start here, new moon, 7 days later from there, it should be this. When you see this, you know it's a Sabbath. 7 days from there, you're going to have a full moon. This is the 8th day. This is the 15th day. That's why I know for a fact, Feast of Unleavened fall on the full moon, and the Tabernacle fall on the full moon. And all the holidays, high holy days, fall on the Sabbath. All of them fall on the Sabbath. That's how he designed it. So when they say, oh, it's a double Sabbath, it ain't no double Sabbath. It was already a Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? It's already a Sabbath. So then when you go 7 more days, you got this. It's at the 22nd day. And then it come all the way back around to a new moon. So the new moon is a Sabbath too. There's only 4 Sabbaths in a year. In a month. So when the Lord is telling us what day to do the high holy days on, you have to start from the new moon and count your way to that day. So if you say you have the high holy day like Feast of Unleavened on the 15th day, you already know it's going to be a full moon on that day. Because it's a sign of feast. It's a sign of feast. And the moon counts the days. The sun is for the days and the time, but the moon counts the days and the months. And it's a sign of the feast. So everything that the Most High gives us is for a reason. Everything has its usage. Go to 1 Samuel. Oh, no, keep reading. Keep reading.
Okay. Verse 4.
As a matter of fact, let me mention this. Did you see how the Lord said that the Sabbath is a feast day? He started with that first. Read on.
Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their season.
In their what?
In their season.
In their what?
In their season.
The moon is a sign of the seasons also. Because every time we got a feast day, it got something to do with harvest. It has something to do with planting or harvesting. So in the springtime, we got the Passover Feast of Unleavened. In the summertime, we got the Feast of First Fruits and Pentecost. In the fall time, we got the Memorial Blowing of the Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, the Feast of Tabernacles. In the wintertime, we got the Feast of Dedications. You know what I'm saying? Everything has a season, and the moon counts those seasons for us. Read on.
In the 14th day of the first month, at even, is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day...
Go right there, and I'm going to touch something else. They say we go even to even, right? It's high holy days that we do starting at even. Now let's use some common sense. Why did the Lord tell us to start the Passover in the evening?
Because he killed the Egyptians firstborn in the evening. We had to put the blood over the Lord, and the angel of death passed over them in the night.
And also, that's when we left Egypt. We left Egypt and we used the moonlight to leave. So and because what they say, we left in haste, right? We left in haste. If you feel to leave somebody that you're trying to get away from, you're going to go while they sleep. And if you leaving in haste. That's why we have to have our staff. And we ate standing up. So, and then on that next day, was the Feast of Unleavened. Why Passover didn't continue on into the 15th day? Why did he say start in the evening and then the next day, the 15th day, starts the Feast of Unleavened? Why didn't it say the Feast of Unleavened started at evening? It don't say the Feast of Unleavened started at evening. I know the Passover started at evening. I know the Day of Atonement started at evening. Then what's the purpose of the sun? You know what I'm saying? The sun has its purpose too. is to count the time and the days. So a day starts figuring out the scriptures. Matter of fact, let's use this blue letter Bible again. Let's go to let's go to Matthew 28:1. Watch this there. And when you go there, we're going to go to the Bible comparisons.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 28, and verse 1. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre.
So it says, at the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week. When we go to the NLT, get you another translation. It says, early on Sunday morning, as the new day was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to visit the tomb. So it's telling you the day started when the sun rose. Ain't that kind of sense? Why would the Lord start a day at nighttime? Let's get the precept. Mark 16 and 1. 16 and 2, survive.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 16 and verse 2. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre, and the rising of the sun. And they said among themselves, who shall roll us away the stone from the door of the sepulchre?
That's all I want right there. It speaks for itself. And very early in the morning, the first day of the week. When we go to the NLT, very early on Sunday morning, just at sunrise, they went to the tomb. When you go to the NIV, very early on the first day of the week, just after sunrise, they were on their way to the tomb. So, all my life, a day started when the sun rose. It wasn't until I came into the truth, they tell me even. But you know what else? Didn't the Lord say, every thou not be a person, right? Mm-hmm. You know who start all day Sabbaths and all day feast days at evening? Mm-hmm. The fake Jews. They don't put no differential, but the Lord does. And I went through these scriptures. He didn't tell you to start every high holy day at the evening. But the fake Jews do everything at the evening. Mm-hmm. Because can the dark comprehend the light? Mm-hmm. The dark can't comprehend the light, so they can't do what we do. Let me get this Genesis right quick. Genesis 1. Let's go to Genesis 1 and 3.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 3. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw that light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night.
He called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So when it begins to fall at evening, that's going into nighttime, right? Mm-hmm. So how can that start a day? That's like the white man saying at 12 o'clock midnight is a new day. But he's not hearing what he said. At 12 o'clock midnight, it's the middle of the night. Yeah. So how can you start a day in the middle of the night? And how can you start a day at the beginning of the night? If that's in the middle of the night, then the sun setting got to be the beginning of the night. Or else when do the night start? Come on, we got to make sense of this thing. When we go to the, did you get the verse out here? Yeah. So when we go to, I'm going to go to the NIV. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day. So you have to include the work that he did during the daytime, because that's when he made the light, right?
Right.
He was working. And then it said there was an evening and there was a morning, and that was the first day. So everything that he did in that day, then the evening, then the morning, till the morning, was a whole day. Just like when we get up in the morning, we go to work, we get off of work, at evening time we kick our feet up, we go to sleep, we wake up in the morning, it's another day. Mm-hmm. We got brothers excluding all the work that the Lord did and just saying evening, the highest evening to morning and day. They'll say an evening and morning was the first day. And they think that constitutes a day. And evening and morning was the first day. So what about noontime? You know what I'm saying? What about lunchtime? We ain't gonna include that. What about 6, 7, 8? What about, you know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. But what makes sense is, at nighttime, the predatory animals go out to do their work, right? That's when they hunting. That's what they doing their business. But in the daytime, they gonna do what? They gonna sleep. But us and the mammals that be up in the morning, in the daytime, we do all that stuff in the daytime. And then when the night falls, and all of us know when we was out in the wilderness, when we was camping, once that sun goes down, it ain't no light. You can't see nothing. You can't do nothing. You can't farm nothing. Forget the modern technology we got. In the woods, you cannot do no work. You fumbling around in the dark. Give me John 9 and 4. John 9 and 4.
This is the book of John, chapter 9 and verse 4. I must work the work of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work.
It's Christ himself. How can we work at nighttime? If it wasn't for slavery and the city, none of us will be working at nighttime. It won't be no third shift. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no third shifts in the wilderness. Unless you up being on watch. That's about the only third shift that's going on in the wilderness. Somebody else watching. You got a couple watchers watching over the camp. Other than that, nothing. Things that out. That's it.
As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world.
Now give me John 11 and 8.
This is the book of John, chapter 11 and verse 8. His disciples say unto him, Master, the Jew of late sought to stone thee, and goest thou thither again? And Yahushua answered, and they are not 12 hours, are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walketh in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world.
You know?
But if a man walketh in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him.
So it's a twofold scripture. It's talking about your spirit, but it's talking about real life too. You go out in the woods with no light and see if you're going to stumble over something. At least you're going to be looking for snake. Oh my goodness, a snake. I don't want to step on no snake. Remember we stepped in that grass, over the grass, this how you talking about, might be a snake in there. It might be a snake. Because you can't see. Because you might stumble over a piece of wood or a rock or something. This is Christ himself telling you this. Also, we can't do this work in the dark. We have to be the light of the world. You know what I'm saying? We can't be in darkness spiritually and say we got light. But we can be in the darkness and let our light shine, is what I meant. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Christ is talking about. But also, he is speaking facts. It ain't number 12 hours in a day now. The sun gonna be up. Once it's dawn, you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. This is Christ telling you. Practical information. But everybody got to make everything be so holier than thou. Man, he's telling us how we need to live in this world, in this present world. In every facet of this present world. Spiritually, physically, mentally. So there you go. Psalms 104 and verse 19. Look at the devil looking in. Oh, he can write? Yeah, we can write too. Go ahead and write too. What's going on?
This is Psalms 104 and verse 19.
Yes, sir.
He appointed the moon for seasons.
For what?
For seasons.
We just talked about that. For the seasons. That's how we know when the harvest. We look up at the moon, we know the Lord telling us what month to do everything in and what day to do everything in. So we understanding, okay, on the first month, 14th day, first we need to celebrate the new moon. Then we need to do the Sabbath. Then we need to do the Passover. And the next day after that is the Feast of Unleavened, because the Lord told us how to read the moon. And all of us, it's going to come to a point where we're not going to need no count. We shouldn't need a count. We should be able to look up. Now, we may talk about what day we're going to get together on for this and that. But I want everybody to be able to look at the moon and know when it's a Sabbath, a true Sabbath. Now, we understand we in captivity and we gather the best way we can. But we still have to have the understanding. Read on.
Thou makest darkness, and its night.
Hold on, read 19 again, fool.
He appointed the moon for seasons. The sun knoweth his going down. Thou makest darkness, and it is night.
So if it get dark, then it's night. If it's dark, then it's night. And the Lord didn't say he made the day for the night. He said he made the darkness and called it night. Just because a few high holy days he tell us to start in the evening, there's common sense to it. It is common sense to why he told us to start the Day of Atonement in the evening time. He wanted us to work first. We finish working at evening, start your Day of Atonement, because the next day you're not going to work.
Right.
And it's going to stop that evening. Boom. Get together, then after that, get ready for work for the next day. Why would he tell us to start the Day of Atonement in the middle of the day? Or at the beginning of the day? He told us to start it after that day of work. Start your Day of Atonement. He told us to start the Passover at evening, because that's when we left out of Egypt. It ain't saying in the 15th day keep doing the Passover. It said at evening, start the Passover, do all the things he told us to do. And the next day, when would that next day start? It has to start when the sun rises, because if not, then the Passover will continue into that next evening, wouldn't it? So it has to start when the sun rises. Or right there would have told you, keep doing Passover till the next evening. But no, it signifies start the Passover at evening on the 14th day. And on the 15th day is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So, if we really paying attention. Read on up.
Wherein all the beasts of the forest do creep forth.
That's why I said what I said about the predators. Because this is what the Bible said. At night, that's when all the creatures of the evening do creep forth. Yeah, the lions be chilling during the day because it's hot. They wait till they may do some hunting, but at nighttime, that's when it's going down. That's when it's going down at night, and that's where we gonna be. Is we gonna be roaming through the jungle or through the wilderness in the middle of the night? No, we gonna be sitting down somewhere. We gonna have people at watch, looking out if somebody coming, and everybody gonna be right here in the camp. Cause if you wandering around like lost sheep, you gonna get picked off.
Right.
And that's what's wrong with our nation right now. We not coming together the way. That's why he commanded us to do. He said these are holy convocations. These are holy gatherings. If he didn't command us to do it, we wouldn't be together. People doing what they want to do. People not understanding the reasons why he telling us to do it. Now, I got to understand this. I'm just going to do it by myself. He ain't tell us to do it by himself. Yeah, I got to understand of the new moon. It goes according, the Sabbath, it goes according to the moon. It's going to be on Tuesday, on the 25th. But we still need to gather. Because outside of the new moon, on the 8th day, do we gather? No. On the 15th day, do we gather? No. But we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be. Instead of this being a Sabbath, it's supposed to be on the 25th. But we've been programmed and conditioned because First of all, I'm not knocking nobody because we in captivity. People have to fight to get the Saturday off. Know what I'm saying? So that we can gather. All praise to the Most High. If you got brothers trying to get, if the Saturday fall on a Tuesday, everybody can get a Tuesday off. And then on the Gregorian calendar, it may next month be on a Wednesday. Nah, I need Wednesday off this month, boss. They're going to be like, nah, man, you can't. The only way you can do that if you own your own business.
That's right. That's right.
But we own our own stuff at this time. We had our own nation, so we can do it together. So we're in captivity now, so we're doing the best that we can, but we still have to have the understanding. Because to the best of our ability, the more we try, we can get there. You know what I'm saying? We can get there. Read on out.
Verse 21.
Yes, sir.
The young lions roar after their prey and seek their meat from God. The sun arises, they gather themselves together, and they lay them down in their dens.
So when the sun come up, they lay it down.
Right.
Because they night predators. Read on. Watch what happened in there.
Man goeth forth unto his work.
To do, he do what?
Man goeth forth unto his work.
When the sun arose, man going forth into his work. The earliest somebody might get up, when you got a farm, is when that rooster crows. And it might just be right before the sun. All the way crack the sky. But they getting up because why? They finna go do some work. You got to go till this, grind, plant these seeds, feed these animals. Anybody know about farm like that, you will understand it completely. Read on.
Man goeth forth unto his work and to his labor until the evening.
Until when?
The evening.
Come on, man. Ain't that what the Most High did? And then that evening he stopped until the morning. He got up and he started working again. That's the same. Are we made after his image?
Nah.
So will we be doing the same thing that he did?
Nah.
And this is what the scriptures is telling us. It ain't nothing but a 12-hour difference in the first place. How hard is it to say, okay, that makes sense. I get up for work in the morning, or I can get up for the Sabbath in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's 12 hours difference. And brothers is hating other brothers because of it. They literally, that's how you know ain't no spirit of Christ. If you hating somebody because they do a different time of the Sabbath than you don't have the spirit of Christ in you. And they hating brothers like Sakar. Because they came out and said they do the lunar Sabbath. They not wrong. They right. Because we just started at Leviticus 23. And the first feast day it named off was the Sabbath. If you count every other high holy day by the moon, how you going to do the Sabbath by something else? That don't make no sense at all. But brothers so high up on their high horse that they don't want to humble themselves down and what makes sense. We understand what we learned. But in the time that you ought to be teaching, you have me that won't teach you again, man.
Right.
This is just common sense. Common sense to me. Common sense to you. Common sense to us. It should be common sense to the whole nation because, see, that's the problem with us not. Matter of fact, give me Psalms 1:11 and 10. This scripture is so pivotal, man. Psalms 1:11 and 10.
Psalm.
And you see, we ain't even touched the Rock 43 yet.
Psalm 111 and verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever.
A good understanding have all they that do. Do. When you do it, you will understand it. If you was harvesting and planting, I bet you will understand it. I bet you throw away the calendar, go in the wilderness, and start harvesting and planting. You don't understand it. Because you ain't going to have no choice. Because ain't no leaning on the white man calendar and the white man holidays, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, if it ain't got no meaning behind it. Well, I don't even want to say Sabbath. Because I know they come from the Sabbath. A God that they work. They number one God of harvest. I don't even like saying it. Weekday 1 through 7. But we so conditioned and programmed to this society that a lot of people have a hard time separating the two. It's like being, I call it like being bilingual. We trying to live bilingual life, a bi-heritage life. And we can't do that. We know we're in Babylon, but we have to separate ourselves. No problem. Man, go talk this going, man. That's a problem, man. It's a problem. So we got to try to separate the two. You know what I'm saying? Some people got a hard time separating the two. From our heritage from Babylon. But we have to do it the same way you separated
You gotta get some stuff out.
Christmas from our holidays. We got to separate everything from their days. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep this thing going. Give me some Rock 43 out and 6. Rock chapter 43 and verse 6.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 43, and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of peace.
Read that again.
From the moon is a sign of peace.
The moon is a sign of feast. Like I said, you don't know the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened. That moon gonna be sitting up there shining bright. That moon gonna be sitting up there beautiful. And what makes sense? If the full moon is the new moon, according to some people, then that means that it's gonna be a dark moon during the Passover. Is that a sign of feast?
No.
Is that glorious and showing the glory of the Most High? No. And then not only that, how can we move around with no moonlight if we escape in Egypt? That don't make no sense. That's confusing. But what makes sense is if he want to glorify what he talking about, he gonna put that moon up there nice, big, and bright. And it's going to be shining for everybody to see because it said it's a declaration of times and a sign of the world. So everybody in the world, it don't matter where you at as an Israelite. When it's a full moon, you're going to see it all over the world. And that's the common denominator. If you in Israel, if I'm in America, if you in Alaska, if you in China and you're an Israelite and you try to do the Passover, you going to see the full moon. The same moon. That's how the Most High works. And he told you it's a declaration, it's a sign of the world. And he said from the moon is the sign of peace. Read that next part out.
A light that decreases in her perfection.
A light that decreases in her perfection. Let's go back to our moon chart. We go around moon chart. We have something that's called, I don't know who's familiar with waxing and waning. But you want to be familiar with that. Waxing and waning. So the scriptures say it's a sign of peace. So we already established that during feast, like the Passover, then there'd be a full moon, right? And that means perfect. Let me go back to my recordings. Go to my recordings. Go back to Psalms 81. We'll go back to New Moon, H23:20. Okay, I'll get that Facebook. It says it decreases in its perfection, right? I mean, I'm gonna go. I select. I'm gonna go to full moon spot. And full moon. Full. What does the word full mean? Complete. And what does complete mean? Perfect.
Whole.
Whole.
Yeah.
Whole. Perfect. Because when you even go to the definition of full, containing or holding as much or as many as possible, not having empty space, not lacking, or omitting anything. There, it's a full, fill up. Perfect. So when you go to full, when it's full, this is perfect. So for it to decrease in its perfection, that means it would have to lose something, right? If it starts decreasing in its perfection, because we know there's a sign of feast. We already established that. So on the Passover, after it gets full, after the Feast of Unleavened, it starts decreasing in its perfection. That's called waning. And if you look at the chart, you'll see that it starts waning and losing after the full moon. It's called waning gibbous. And it starts looking like this. So that's decreasing in its perfection. Then after that, it gets here. Then after that, it gets here. And then after that, it's a new moon. And it starts over. So it's waning or decreasing in its perfection. That's what the scripture says. But it starts after it said it's a sign of peace. That's the key point right there. See, a lot of people use this and try to say, see, the full moon is the new moon because it started decreasing in its perfection. But what did it say before that? It's a sign of feast. And we already established from Psalms 81 that on a full moon, it will be the Feast of Unleavened. So if you started the full moon, we know that before the full moon, it's a new moon. So it cannot be the new moon. And then it says it decreases in its perfection. Read the next verse. Verse 8, right. So right, 43 there. But that's the key point right there.
Okay.
If it's a sign of feast, and it's decreasing in its perfection, then we know it's waning.
So the moon is a sign of feast, a light that decreases in her perfection. The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her change.
Oh, right there. Now it's saying increasing wonderfully in her change. So we already established this point right here. Now it's talking about the waxing part. When it's a new moon. This is waning, meaning decreasing, and this is waxing. So we got that new moon, and then it'll start this. Then it'll be like this. Then it'll be full. It's increasing. That's waxing. So the Bible is telling you the same thing that these people that know about the moon is telling you about the waxing and waning. But how many people remember this from school? That's why I say I need to run some report cards. I need to see your report cards and your certificates and your diplomas before we start putting brothers as educators. You know what I'm saying? Some people just repeating.
Yeah.
But you got to be an educator. You know what I'm saying? We can't just be teaching just to have people up under us. We're supposed to be teaching to build each other up. So all of us can be known what the Most High wants us to do. So that's waxing and waning. Read on that.
The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven.
You know how to be an instrument for the armies above? Who ever heard of a fortnight? We'll be there in a fortnight. That's what the armies used to say. A fortnight means 2 weeks. So if you in the beginning of the month, and you know that we'll be there in a fortnight, and it's the new moon, then you will be there on the full moon. You know what I'm saying? If it's like this, if this is the time of the month it is on this Sabbath, right? If I say I'll be there in a fortnight, when would I be there? When that month is like this. You know what I'm saying? They know how to read the moon. All I do is look up there and I know, okay, when 2 weeks will be through. That's our month. You know what I'm saying? We have to know how to read that thing. We over here looking at, it's October 22nd. That's Gregorian. That comes from the Julian calendar. That comes from the Roman calendar. Didn't the Lord say, "Then God knock the oppressor and choose none of his way"? Now we know we got to go to work. We know we got to go to work. But I try my darndest to get that stuff out of my head just like Jesus. You got to wash it out just like Christmas. And you got to bring in your understanding, your knowledge. Because what do you say? The world was made for our sake, right? Does that mean that everything in it? The sun, the moon, the stars was made for our sake. Give me 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 45. 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 45.
Yeah. Chapter 6. This is verse 45. Upon the fourth day thou commandest that the sun should shine, and the moon give her light, and the stars should be in order. And gavest them a charge to do service unto man. That was to be made. Upon the fifth day thou saidest unto the seventh part, where the waters were gathered.
That's all I want right there. Verse 46 said he gave them a charge to do service unto man. That was to be made. Because that's what it's made for. The sun ain't made to be the center of the universe. It wasn't made for that. The sun was made for us. The moon was made for us. That's the whole purpose. Grasp that. Because they've been teaching us in school that the earth revolves around the sun and all the planets revolve around the sun. No, that's not true. All these things were made for our sake. So the constellations was made for us to be able to navigate across this earth without having a map. The moon, the suns, they was made for us to give us light, to give us heat, to help us grow. So what they've been teaching all this time is a lie. Jump over to verse 55. I started at 54. I love that verse.
2 Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this I have spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast made the world for our sake.
Was made for our sake. All this that was spoken before was made for our sake. Even the people that's on this earth was made for our sake. We the only ones that's not obedient to the Most High. So we the only ones that need to get in order. You know what I'm saying? The moon got laws. The sun got laws. The trees got laws. And we got laws too. We the only ones that's not doing what the Most High God say, the Israelites. So that's why we got to get in order. Through his laws, statutes, and commandments. You see? I think that's it. Give me one more enough off. 1 Samuel chapter 20 and verse 24.
Verse 20.
Yes, sir. Chapter 20, verse 24.
Gotcha.
Because this going to the new moon, this solidifying that part right there.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 20 and verse 24. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come,
Now listen what it say. When the new moon was come, read on.
the king sat him down to eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
And the king sat upon his seat at other times, even upon his seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, Saul spake not anything that day, for he thought something hath befallen him. He is not clean. Surely he is not clean.
So Saul thought that because David wasn't at the new moon. See, this went over my head the first couple times I heard it. It's talking about the new moon. David had left. He told Jonathan he was going to leave. So when the new moon came, Saul was expecting David to be there to eat. But he wasn't. So he said he didn't say nothing at first. You know what I'm saying? He must be unclean. He must have did something. You know how the boy be. He must have did something. So he ain't say nothing. Read on out.
Also, okay. All right, here we go. Oh. And verse 27, and it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month.
Which was what?
The second day of the month, that David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan his son, Wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to me, neither yesterday nor today? And Jonathan answered Saul, David earnestly asked leave of me to go to Bethlehem.
So what we pointed out there was the new moon. They were going to sit and eat. It told you that the second day, the next day was the second day. So it's telling you the new moon is the first day, second day, third day. You know what I'm saying? It's just showing how we have to count the days by the moon, starting at the new moon, which is the first day of the month. Now, what sense would it make to start the new moon? It's like this. It's full, right? One day go by, you ain't even gonna really notice. Cause it be looking like the full moon up there for a couple days. You ain't gonna even notice. But would you notice this? Let's see, let me get it right. We're going the right way. Did you notice this? You're like, one day it went by. One day it went by. Hey, okay. You count 7 days. You have to count 7 days from this. See, we thought that it was the first sliver. The first sliver being 1 day that already went by. This is the new moon, the dark moon. And then after this, let's show you how many days went by. You know what I'm saying? And then 8 days later, you got this. So it's clearly showing you an increase on the days. Then 8 days, 7 days later, you got the whole thing. So which would be easier to read? Starting from empty, because new moon means to repair or to renew. Full moon means perfect or complete. So how you gonna start from perfect and complete and say it's new? That don't make no sense. But if it starts from empty and need to renew or repair, you're gonna increase in its perfection. And then once you get that perfection, that completion, it's gonna decrease in its perfection. So it increases, then it decreases. The Most High is not the author of confusion. So, we got some understanding, and we're going to proceed on. We might even do this countdown. We might make that a class. doing the calendar for the next year together. So y'all can see how easy it is. Yeah, I think that we're going to do a class on that. Do a class where we go and we do the calendar together. So that we all know how to do it. And with that, you got something else?
I got one thing I want to bring up, and that's about how the Most High did desire no one to really understand the scriptures, but Israel, because it's the same way we got so confused with this Easter stuff and Good Friday stuff. He says that 3 days and 3 nights shall the Son of Man be in the belly of the earth as Yoma was in the fish's belly, right? So they got Good Friday. You do Good Friday for 3.5 days, you're not going to end up with their so-called Saturday or Sunday. There's no way it's impossible. Right. It would have to start on Wednesday. But because we was in slavery, we took on everything that the so-called masters say. But now the Most High is waking his people up. And now he's giving us teachers and stuff that's really teaching us what's true, in spite of what all the others is trying to pull out to supersede their own righteousness. And that's what the problem is.
Because this ain't about somebody got to be right. It's about what's right. It ain't about me being right. It's about what's right. It makes sense. That's what we should be worried about. Not, I got to get it right. No, I can be wrong. I can be wrong. But some things is so simple and so common sense that it's not going to be wrong.
And the scriptures can't be wrong.
The scriptures cannot be wrong.
Be wrong.
Like, we got people who have been tricked. Like, I brought up Easter. People over here getting suited up for Easter and still trying to figure out what's the Easter bunny and the egg about. But you still doing it. You got people over here doing Christmas and don't even know why they doing it. And you'll have somebody come into the truth, be in the truth for 2 years and get to try to tell somebody that they don't know something. Brother, you just came out of Christianity, celebrating Easter bunnies and Easter eggs. You know what I'm saying? But we just gonna do what the Most High God commanded us to do, thus saith the Lord, and we gonna go precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. And it ain't about nobody here right or wrong. It's about doing what's right and trying to do the best that we can do to serve the Most High in spirit and in truth.
That's right.
And with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.